Helen Keller. Lessons in Unbreakable Will. You think your life is hard. You think the obstacles in front of you are impossible to overcome. You wake up every day and tell yourself stories about why you can't, why you're not good enough, why the world is against you. But imagine this. You are 19 months old. In a single moment, an illness steals your sight, your hearing, your connection to the world. You are trapped in silence and darkness. Forever. Most would surrender. Most would become a ghost in their own life. Helen Keller did not. She became one of the most powerful voices of the 20th century. A woman who could not see or hear, yet who saw more clearly than most ever will. Who spoke louder than those with perfect voices. This is not a story about disability. This is a story about will. About discipline. About refusing to accept the limits others place on you. And the lesson she left behind will change how you see your own struggles. Let's begin. Helen Keller was born in 1880 in Tuscumbia, Alabama. A healthy child. A normal childhood, or so it seemed. Then, before her second birthday, an illness struck. Scarlet fever or meningitis. The doctors of that era could not be certain. What was certain was the result. Complete loss of sight and hearing. Imagine the terror. A child suddenly locked in perpetual darkness and silence. Unable to communicate. Unable to understand the world or be understood by it. She grew frustrated. Violent at times. Wild. Her family did not know how to reach her. Most families in that era would have institutionalized such a child. Hidden her away. But her mother refused to give up. At age 6, a teacher arrived. Anne Sullivan, 20 years old, partially blind herself. She had fought her own battles in institutions, in poverty, in a world that discarded broken things. Sullivan began the grueling work of teaching Helen language, spelling words into her hand, over and over. Water, doll, mother. For weeks, Helen did not understand. Then one day, at a water pump, everything changed. Sullivan spelled WTR into Helen's hand as cold water poured over the other. And Helen understood. Things had names. The world had structure. Language was possible. From that moment, Helen Keller's life transformed. She learned to read Braille, to write, to speak, though she could not hear her own voice. She attended Radcliffe College and graduated with honors. She wrote books, gave lectures across the world, became an advocate for the blind, for women's rights, for social justice. She met every American president from Grover Cleveland to John F. Kennedy. She traveled to dozens of countries. She became a symbol of human possibility. Helen Keller died in 1968 at age 87. She had lived a life most people with every advantage never come close to achieving. Now, let's talk about what she can teach you. Lesson 1. Your obstacles are not excuses. They are tests. Helen Keller could not see, could not hear. Every single day of her life was harder than anything most of us will ever face. Yet she refused to use her condition as a reason to quit. Think about that. She had the perfect excuse. Society would have accepted it. No one would have blamed her for living a quiet, hidden life. She chose differently. Now ask yourself, what excuses are you making? What obstacles are you allowing to define you? A difficult childhood? A lack of money? A failure or two? Pause. Reflect on this. Your obstacles are real. I am not telling you to ignore them. But you must understand something fundamental. Obstacles do not determine your outcome. Your response to them does. Every person who has ever achieved anything significant faced obstacles. The difference between those who succeed and those who do not is simple. Successful people see obstacles as problems to solve. not reasons to quit. You have two choices. You can focus on what you lack, or you can focus on what you can control. Helen Keller could not control her disability, but she could control her effort, her discipline, her will. You can do the same. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. They will never come. Start working with what you have, right now, today. That is where power begins. Lesson 2. Teachers and mentors will change your life. Choose them wisely. Helen Keller's transformation began with Anne Sullivan. Without Sullivan, Helen's story would be very different, probably unknown. Sullivan did not just teach Helen words. She believed in Helen when Helen did not yet believe in herself. She saw potential where others saw only limitation. She pushed when it would have been easier to give up. This is critical. You cannot do this alone. No one can. The people you allow into your inner circle will either lift you up or drag you down. They will either challenge you to grow or enable your weaknesses. Look at your closest relationships, your friends, your mentors. Are they people who demand excellence from you? Who refuse to let you settle? Who see your potential even when you cannot? Or are they people who validate your excuses? Who encourage comfort over growth? Who pull you back toward mediocrity because your progress makes them uncomfortable? Pause. Reflect on this. You must be ruthless about this. Not cruel, but honest. If the people around you are not helping you grow, you need to find new people. This is not optional. Seek out those who have what you want, who have done what you want to do. Study them. Learn from them. Ask for guidance. Most successful people are willing to help those who are serious and respectful. And when you find a true mentor, someone who believes in you and invests in your growth, honor that relationship. Work harder because of it. Prove their faith in you is justified. Helen Keller honored Anne Sullivan for her entire life. She understood the debt she owed. You should understand yours as well. Lesson 3. Communication is not about talking. It is about connecting. Helen Keller could not speak for most of her childhood. When she finally learned, her speech was difficult to understand. Yet she became one of the most effective communicators of her time. How? She understood that communication is not about the mechanics of speech. It is about transmitting ideas, emotions, truth. It is about making people feel something. Most people talk constantly but say nothing. They fill silence with noise. They mistake volume for impact. They confuse being heard with being understood. You must learn to communicate with precision, with purpose. Every word should matter. Every sentence should carry weight. This applies to your relationships, to your work, to your own self-talk. In relationships, most conflict comes from poor communication. People make assumptions. They leave things unsaid. They expect others to read their minds. Then, they resent each other for failing to do the impossible. Stop this. Say what you mean what you say. Be direct. Be honest. Be clear. If you are angry, say why. If you need something, ask for it. If you appreciate someone, tell them. Do not hide behind hints and implications. Pause. Reflect on this. At work, the same principle applies. Clarity is power. If you cannot explain your ideas clearly, they have no value. Learn to write well. Speak well. Present your thoughts in ways others can understand and act upon. And in your own mind, be ruthless about the words you use with yourself. Do not say, "I can't," when you mean, "I haven't tried hard enough." Do not say, "It's impossible," when you mean, "It's difficult." Language shapes thought. Thought shapes action. Control your language, and you control your destiny. Lesson 4. Discipline is freedom. Routine is power. Helen Keller's life required extreme discipline. Every day, she worked on her communication skills, her reading, her writing. 4 hours, 4 years. Without that discipline, none of her achievements would have been possible. Understand this. Freedom does not come from doing whatever you want. It comes from the ability to do what you must, even when you do not want to. Most people are slaves to their feelings. They work when they feel motivated. They rest when they feel tired. They quit when they feel discouraged. This is weakness, and it will keep you trapped forever. Discipline means doing the work regardless of how you feel. It means building systems and routines that remove the need for constant decision-making. You do not negotiate with yourself about whether to brush your teeth. You just do it. The same should be true for your most important work. Build a morning routine. The same actions every day. Exercise, reading, planning, whatever matters most to you. Make it automatic. Build an evening routine. Review your day. Prepare for tomorrow. Reflect on your progress. Make it automatic. The details matter less than the consistency. What matters is that you remove chaos from your life, that you create structure, that you eliminate the need to rely on motivation. Pause. Reflect on this. Motivation is fleeting. Discipline is permanent. Motivation gets you started. Discipline keeps you going when motivation dies. And here is the truth most people never learn. Discipline becomes easier over time. The first weeks are brutal. Your brain will fight you. Your emotions will rebel. But if you persist, the discipline becomes part of who you are. It becomes effortless. That is freedom. The freedom to pursue your goals without being stopped by your own weakness. Helen Keller understood this. She built her life on routine and discipline. You must do the same. Lesson 5. Self-pity is poison. Gratitude is medicine. Helen Keller had every reason to feel sorry for herself. Blind, deaf, born into a world that offered her nothing. Yet she chose gratitude instead. She wrote about the beauty of the world she could touch and smell. She spoke about the gift of consciousness of being alive. She refused to focus on what she lacked. This is not naive optimism. This is strategic thinking. Self-pity is a trap. It feels good in the moment. It gives you permission to quit, to blame others, to avoid responsibility. But it destroys you slowly, from the inside out. Every minute you spend feeling sorry for yourself is a minute stolen from progress, from growth, from building the life you actually want. And the worst part? Self-pity is addictive. The more you indulge in it, the more you crave it. You start to identify with your suffering. You build your entire personality around your wounds. This is death. Not physical death, but spiritual death. The death of your potential. Gratitude is the antidote. Pause. Reflect on this. Right now, list 3 things you are grateful for. Do not overthink it. Your health. Your home. A person who cares about you. The fact that you are alive. Do this every day. Make it a practice. Write it down if you need to. Speak it out loud. It does not matter how you do it. What matters is that you train your brain to focus on what you have, not what you lack. This is not about ignoring problems. You can acknowledge difficulty and still choose gratitude. You can work to improve your situation and still appreciate where you are. Gratitude shifts your perspective. It reminds you that you have resources, options, power, and that shift changes everything. Helen Keller lived in darkness and silence, yet she saw light everywhere. You live in a world of abundance, yet you focus on scarcity. Change this. Now. Lesson 6. Your value is not determined by others' opinions. Society looked at Helen Keller and saw a disabled woman. Limited. Less than. Someone to pity. Helen Keller did not accept that definition. She defined herself. This is crucial. The world will always try to put you in a box, to label you, to tell you what you can and cannot do. Family, friends, strangers on the internet. They all have opinions about who you should be. None of it matters. Your value is intrinsic. It exists independent of others' recognition. You do not need permission to pursue your goals. You do not need validation to know your worth. Most people spend their entire lives seeking approval. They chase status. They perform for an audience. They shape themselves into whatever they think will earn love, respect, admiration. This is exhausting. And it is impossible. You cannot control what others think of you. No matter what you do, some will love you. Some will hate you. Most will not think about you at all. So stop performing. Stop seeking approval. Stop waiting for someone to tell you that you are good enough. Pause. Reflect on this. Define your own standards. Decide what kind of person you want to be. What values you want to live by. What goals you want to pursue. Then measure yourself against those standards, and nothing else. This does not mean you ignore all feedback. Constructive criticism from people you respect is valuable. But there is a difference between feedback and judgment. Between someone trying to help you improve and someone trying to tear you down. Learn to tell the difference. Accept the former. Ignore the latter. Helen Keller was mocked by some, doubted by many, pitted by most. She did not care. She knew who she was. She knew what she was capable of. And she proved it through her actions. You must do the same. Let your work speak. Let your results speak. Let your character speak. The right people will notice. The rest do not matter. Lesson 7. Suffering can be transformed into strength. Helen Keller's suffering was immense. But she did not just endure it. She used it. Her experience gave her empathy, understanding, a depth of perspective that most people never develop. It made her a more effective advocate, a more compelling speaker, a more powerful force for change. You will suffer in life. This is guaranteed. Loss, failure, disappointment, pain. You cannot avoid it, but you can choose what you do with it. Most people let suffering break them. They become bitter, cynical, closed off. They build walls. They stop trusting. They stop trying. This is a waste. Suffering has the potential to make you stronger, wiser, more compassionate, more resilient, but only if you actively choose to extract those lessons. When you face difficulty, ask yourself, what is this teaching me? What can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to become better? Pause. Reflect on this. This is not about toxic positivity. You do not have to pretend suffering is good. You do not have to be grateful for pain. But you do have to find meaning in it. Because meaningless suffering is unbearable. Suffering with purpose is manageable. Viktor Frankl, who survived Nazi concentration camps, wrote that those who found meaning in their suffering were the ones who survived. Not the strongest. Not the healthiest. The ones with a reason to keep going. Helen Keller found meaning in her challenges. She turned her suffering into a mission, to help others who face similar struggles, to prove that limitation is often an illusion. You can do this too. Every setback is an opportunity to learn. Every failure is data. Every loss teaches you what matters. Do not waste your suffering. Use it. Let it forge you into something stronger than you were before. Lesson 8. Patience and persistence will outlast talent. Helen Keller's progress was slow. Painfully slow. It took months for her to understand the concept of language. Years to learn to speak. Decades to master communication. But she never stopped. This is the lesson most people refuse to learn. Success is not about speed. It is about consistency over time. We live in a culture obsessed with shortcuts, hacks, overnight success, get rich quick, six-pack abs in 6 weeks, master a skill in 30 days. All lies. Real achievement takes years, sometimes decades, and most people quit long before they see results because they are not willing to do the work when progress is invisible. Understand this. Every skill, every goal, every worthwhile pursuit has a long plateau. A period where you are working hard but seeing no results. Where you feel stuck. Where doubt creeps in. This is where most people quit. Right before the breakthrough. Pause. Reflect on this. You must learn to trust the process. To keep showing up even when you cannot see progress. To put in the work even when it feels pointless. Because growth is not linear. You do not improve a little bit every day. You improve in jumps. After long periods of seemingly no progress, suddenly everything clicks. You make a leap. But only if you kept working during the plateau. Helen Keller did not see results immediately. But she kept going. Every single day. And eventually, the results came. This applies to everything. Fitness, career, relationships, wealth. All of it requires patience and persistence. Stop looking for the fast path. There is not one. Accept that meaningful achievement takes time. Then commit to doing the work, day after day, year after year, regardless of how you feel or what results you see. That is how you win. Not through talent. Not through luck. Through showing up when everyone else quits. Lesson 9. You are responsible for your own education. Helen Keller did not wait for the world to teach her. She sought knowledge aggressively. She read everything she could get her hands on. Philosophy, literature, history, science. She understood that education is not something that happens to you. It is something you create for yourself. Most people finish school and stop learning. They think education is over. They consume entertainment instead of information. They scroll instead of read. They numb themselves instead of challenging themselves. This is suicide for your mind. You must become a lifelong learner. Not because someone is making you. Not because you need a degree. But because growth requires it. Read books. Real books. Not just articles or summaries or social media posts. Deep, challenging books that make you think. Study people you admire. Learn from their mistakes, their strategies, their mindset. Seek out difficult conversations. People who disagree with you. Ideas that challenge your beliefs. This is where growth happens. Pause. Reflect on this. Your formal education gave you tools. Reading, writing, basic knowledge. But it did not teach you how to think, how to question, how to learn independently. You must teach yourself these things. Ask better questions. Why do I believe this? What evidence supports it? What am I missing? What would change my mind? This is intellectual discipline. And it is just as important as physical discipline. Helen Keller never stopped learning. At 80 years old, she was still curious, still reading, still asking questions. You should be the same. The moment you stop learning is the moment you start dying. Do not let that happen. Commit to reading at least one book per month. More if possible. Choose books that challenge you, that teach you something valuable, that expand your understanding of the world. This is an investment in yourself, and it will pay dividends for the rest of your life. Lesson 10. Service to others gives life meaning. Helen Keller did not achieve success for herself alone. She spent her life advocating for the blind, the deaf, the disabled, for women, for workers, for anyone who is marginalized or forgotten. She understood something fundamental. A life focused only on yourself is empty. You need purpose beyond personal gain, beyond comfort, beyond pleasure. You need to contribute something to the world. This does not mean you have to become a famous activist. You do not need to change the world on a massive scale. But you do need to help people. It can be simple. Mentoring someone younger. Supporting a friend through a difficult time. Volunteering in your community. Creating something that makes people's lives better. What matters is that you think beyond yourself. Pause. Reflect on this. Self-improvement is important. Discipline, strength, success, all of it matters. But if you build all of that and use it only for yourself, you will find it is not enough. Human beings are wired for connection, for contribution, for meaning. And meaning comes from making a difference in the lives of others. This is not weakness. This is not softness. This is wisdom. The strongest people are those who lift others up, who use their power to protect and serve, who understand that true strength includes compassion. Helen Keller was fierce, determined, unbreakable, and she used all of that strength to fight for people who could not fight for themselves. Ask yourself, who am I helping? What am I contributing? How am I making the world better? If you do not have good answers to these questions, something is missing. Find a cause you care about, people you want to help, a way to give back, and make it a part of your life. This will give your discipline purpose, your strength direction, your success meaning, and it will make everything else worth it. Lesson 11. Fear is a liar. Action is the only truth. Helen Keller lived in a world that must have been terrifying. Darkness, silence, uncertainty at every turn. Yet she moved forward anyway. She did not wait for the fear to go away. She acted in spite of it. This is the secret most people never learn. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is action despite fear. Fear will always be there. Fear of failure. Fear of judgment. Fear of the unknown. If you wait for fear to disappear before you act, you will wait forever. You must learn to act while afraid. To take the step even though your hands are shaking. To speak even though your voice might crack. To try even though you might fail. This is how you build confidence. Not by eliminating fear, but by proving to yourself that you can function despite it. Every time you act in the face of fear, you weaken its hold on you. Every time you let fear stop you, you strengthen it. Pause. Reflect on this. Think about something you are avoiding right now. A conversation you need to have. A project you need to start. A change you need to make. What is stopping you? Probably fear. Fear of how it will turn out. Fear of what others will think. Fear of your own inadequacy. Recognize that fear is just a feeling. It cannot actually stop you. Only you can stop you. So decide right now. What is one action you can take today? Not tomorrow. Not next week. Today. It does not have to be big. Small actions build momentum. Send the email. Make the call. Write the first page. Take the first step. Helen Keller's first step was learning a single word. That one word opened a universe. Your first step might seem small, insignificant, but it is not. It is everything, because it proves that you are capable of action. That fear does not control you. Do it today, then do it again tomorrow, and the next day, and the day after that. This is how you build a life. One small act of courage at a time. Lesson 1232:30-35:00. Lesson 12. Your legacy is not what you say. It is what you do. Helen Keller did not just talk about possibility. She embodied it. She lived it. She became proof that the human spirit can overcome almost anything. That is legacy. Not words. Not intentions. Actions. Results. Impact. You will be remembered not for what you claim to believe, but for what you actually did. How you treated people. What you built. What you stood for when it mattered. Most people talk about their dreams, their plans, their potential. Very few actually do the work. Do not be like most people. Stop talking about who you are going to become. Start becoming that person today, right now. Stop talking about what you are going to do. Start doing it. Stop waiting for permission, for the right moment, for perfect conditions. They will never come. Pause. Reflect on this. You have one life. That is it. No do-overs. No second chances. Just this one existence, this one opportunity to create something meaningful. How are you using it? Are you building something that matters? Are you becoming someone you respect? Are you living with integrity, discipline, purpose? Or are you drifting? Wasting time on distractions? Numbing yourself with entertainment? Waiting for life to happen to you? Helen Keller had every reason to drift, to give up, to accept a small, quiet existence. She refused. She chose to fight, to grow, to contribute, to matter. You can make the same choice. It starts now, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, not when circumstances improve. Now, decide who you want to be, then become that person through your actions. Every single day, in every decision, in every moment. This is not easy. Nothing worthwhile is. But it is possible. Helen Keller proved it. Millions of others have proved it. And you can prove it too. Helen Keller lived in darkness and silence. Yet she saw more clearly and spoke more powerfully than most people ever will. She faced obstacles that would have destroyed most people. She used them to build something extraordinary. She did not have advantages. She created them through discipline, persistence, and an unbreakable will. And she left behind lessons that are as relevant today as they were 100 years ago. Your obstacles are not excuses. Choose your teachers wisely. Communicate with purpose. Build discipline into your life. Reject self-pity. Define your own value. Transform suffering into strength. Practice patience and persistence. Take responsibility for your education. Serve others. Act despite fear. Let your actions speak. These are not just ideas. They are instructions for building a powerful life. A meaningful life. A life that matters. Helen Keller did not waste her one existence. She squeezed every drop of potential from it. She refused to be limited by anything or anyone. You have the same opportunity, the same choice, every single day. What will you do with it? Will you make excuses? Will you quit when things get hard? Will you settle for less than you are capable of? Or will you rise? Will you fight? Will you become the person you know you can be? The choice is yours. It has always been yours. Stop waiting. Stop hesitating. Stop doubting. Start now. Build discipline. Build strength. Build character. Build something that lasts. And when you face obstacles, remember Helen Keller. Remember that limitation is often an illusion. That the human will is capable of extraordinary things. You are capable of extraordinary things. Now go prove it.